My grandpa Walter is the calmest man you'll ever meet. He's 82 now, a Korean war vet, and he spent most of his retirement at our family's lakeside cabin. He built it with his own hands back in the 70s. Just a humble wooden place with a dock stretching out into the clear blue water. His favorite thing in the world is to sit in his old lawn chair, lying in the water, hat tilted down over his eyes. He says fishing isn't about catching fish. It's about keeping peace in your soul. A year ago, a new HOA took over the little lakeside community. Most of the families are long-timers like us, but the new president, Karen, yes, really came storming in like she owned the entire shoreline. She slapped up signs about community standards, barked at folks about what color their docks could be, and tried to ban fire pits. Grandpa never paid her much mind. He's lived too long to be bossed around by someone half his age with a clipboard. One Sunday morning, I was inside the cabin making Grandpa his usual mug of sweet tea when I heard the crunch of tires on our gravel drive. I stepped out onto the porch and saw Karen standing at the dock, hands on her hips, yelling at Grandpa, who didn't even look up from his rod. Apparently, she'd decided our private dock was community property and that Grandpa didn't have a permit to fish there, which is ridiculous. It's our land, our dock, our cabin, all well outside the HOA's jurisdiction. But Karen being Karen, she called the cops anyway. About 20 minutes later, 2 deputies pulled up. Grandpa just kept fishing as they walked down the dock. I was ready to storm down there myself. But before I could, one deputy called out, "Mr. Walter? Everything all right, sir?" That's when it hit me. Both deputies were young guys who'd grown up around here. They'd been kids when Grandpa used to run the town's volunteer search and rescue. He taught them how to swim in this same lake, patched up their scraped knees, and taught them to bait a hook. Grandpa lifted his hat, gave them that half-smile of his, and said, "Boys, you mind telling this lady I'm allowed to fish on my own dock?" Karen started squawking about bylaws and community resources. But the deputies didn't even look at her. One pulled out his radio, confirmed the cabin's deed was exactly as Grandpa said, and then turned back to her. "Ma'am, you're trespassing. This dock is Mr. Walter's private property. If you don't leave right now, we'll have to ask you to come with us." Karen's face turned bright red. She started stammering about how she was the HOA president and they had to enforce the rules. The other deputy cut her off. "Ma'am, this is his land. Has been for decades. You have no authority here. Now step back onto HOA property, or we'll help you find your way to the squad car." I swear, I saw Grandpa's shoulders shake from laughing. Karen stomped back up the dock, muttering threats about calling the board. Grandpa turned to the deputies, asked if they wanted a cold soda, and they sat on the dock with him for half an hour swapping fishing stories. After they left, Grandpa leaned back in his chair, lying still in the water, and said to me, "Sometimes you teach a kid to fish, and years later he saves you the trouble of dealing with fools." Karen still prowls the neighborhood, but she hasn't set foot near our dock again. As for Grandpa, he's still down there every morning at dawn, hat low, rod steady, peace in his soul, and a grin on his face whenever a fish bites.